Hi everybody, this is my family with me today as my audience for my informational speech.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Alright, thank you everybody for coming today and taking the time to listen to my speech. You all know that I'm a preschool teacher at ODB Kids here in Gainesville, but what you don't know is that our main focus as a company and as teachers is learning through play. I'm here today with hopes of you all understanding why play is so important by the end of this speech. Play is not just a fun and energizing activity that children take part in. It is deeply involved in human development and intelligence. Dr. Stuart Brown, a physician, a psychiatrist, and a play researcher, says that humor, games, roughhousing, flirtation, and fantasy are far more than just fun. Plenty of play in childhood makes for happy, smart adults, and keeping it up makes us smarter at any age. The neuroscience behind developing through play is something to be taken seriously because the effects of play-deprived children can be devastating. There are many different types of play, some of which you are probably already familiar with. The types of play include, but are not limited to, attunement play, social play, rough and tumble play, imaginative play, and many more. Through these different types of play, children develop cognitive, language, social, emotional, and physical skills, all of which are essential in life. According to Harvard University and my ODB Kids Employee Handbook, more than 85% of a person's brain is wired during the first 5 years of their life. In fact, normal early development is so rapid that if you look at an EET scan of a 1-year-old, it more closely resembles that of an adult than it does a newborn baby's. By age 3, the child's brain has about 1,000 trillion brain connections, which is twice the number of an adult brain. I am telling you this because the early experiences children have play a critical role in wiring the brain. During these first few years of life, the brain has the most capacity to change, which means this is a time for both great opportunity as well as great vulnerability. As a child grows, a complex system of neural pathways is formed, and the pathways that are repeatedly activated or used, for example through play, are retained into adulthood. Learning, behavior, and health all depend on these connections. It is important to understand how much early childhood experiences affect our lives later on before I move on to the different types of play and why each one matters. That being said, I would like to talk about play deprivation during early childhood. As I previously mentioned, the effects of this lack of play can be devastating. Brian Sutton Smith, a play theorist, once said, "The opposite of play is not work, it is depression." Unfortunately, this is entirely too true. During his TED Talk, Stuart Brown asked the audience to imagine a world with no games, no fantasy, no humor, no play. This is a world that is very familiar to many children and adults who never experienced play or appropriate attachments as a child with their caregivers. The Encyclopedia of Psychology states that those who never had the opportunity to play with others during their school years are much more susceptible to school failure later on and withdrawal. But it goes further than that. A good example of this negative outcome is the story of Charles Whitman. Charles Whitman is a man who barricaded himself on top of a tower in 1996, and he shot 44 people. This case was studied by Stuart Brown, and he found that Whitman had a history of abuse from his father as well as an absence of play because his father never allowed him to play. Brown also found in a study of 26 convicted Texas murderers that 90% showed either an absence of play or a history of abnormal childhood play such as bullying and harassment and other things like that. Moving forward, I listed earlier some of the different types of play. One of these is attunement play, where the state of play is first originally grounded as an infant. In this type of play, a mother and her infant make eye contact and each feels a spontaneous rush of complete joy. The baby responds with a smile and her cooing sounds, and the mother with her baby talk and her smile. Through EEG and other devices, it is known that during attunement play, the right cerebral cortex, which is where emotional control takes place, is attuned in both the infant and her mother. However, if an infant never experiences the attunement, then they never truly build an attachment, which usually causes them to become more aggressive later on in life. Much of the violence in the United States may be related to the lack of appropriate attachments. Another type of play is social play. Social play teaches children language and cultural expectations that will help them communicate for the rest of their lives. It has been said that the single best predictor of adult adaptation is the adequacy with which the child gets along with other children. It is during this social play that the basis of human trust is established through play signals. Rough and tumble play, otherwise known as horseplay, is a type of play that I think we are all very familiar with. Generally, you see boys engaging in this physical type of play. However, several mothers who were interviewed stated that rough play is empowering for their daughters and they appreciate how it makes their girls feel strong. There's a common misconception about rough and tumble play needing to be avoided in order to avoid the injury. However, just like any other play, rough and tumble play should be encouraged as it is for pure enjoyment with no end goal. Research demonstrates the importance of this play for its ability to allow children to learn their emotional regulation skills. The last type of play I will talk about is imaginary play. Imaginary play, or pretend play, is where children oftentimes take ideas from their own lives and put them into action, such as going to the doctor's office or cooking dinner for their family. According to the National Play Institute, this play style is the key for innovation, creativity, and spirit nourishment throughout one's life. Psychologist Sigmund Freud expresses that children need play because they do not have more logical or sophisticated ways of dealing with anxiety-producing events and traumatic trauma that they've had to deal with. Play has many therapeutic qualities for children, which allows them to help deal with their problems. In closing, play is a preparation for child growth and socialization. Without play, children's long-term development is greatly hindered. The large variety of different play styles, such as attunement play, social play, rough and tumble play, and imaginary play, all contribute to the skills necessary for a successful life. I hope that I have made it clear that play is far more than just fun. It is critical. Early experiences during the first few years of childhood greatly affect how a child will develop for the rest of their lives. The brain is so subject to change during these first few years that these early experiences determine if a child will become brilliant or dull, confident or fearful, and so on and so forth. Many schools are attempting to eliminate the amount of playtime children have. However, this could lead to negative consequences in relation to the future generation. Now that you all know why play is so important, we can begin to take something that is normally dismissed far more seriously. As said by play theorist Carl Gross, children do not play because they are young so that they can play. I hope you all have taken something from this that you can apply to your life in one way or another. Thank you everyone for your time.